So after multiple weeks of back and forth and drama, it is finally official. Xavier Lucas, South Florida native, is finally coming home. So for those of you that may not be too familiar with what went on between Lucas and Wisconsin and Miami, and you're just kind of looking into it and you stumbled onto my video first of all, thank you. Hit the like button. But I'll kind of give you a very brief, quick rundown of what happened. So Xavier Lucas, who played his high school ball here down in South Florida, was an exceptional true freshman corner last year for Wisconsin. Very versatile, great size, 6'2", 200 pounds, athletic, very fast, and was a prospect that, if he hit the portal, was going to be a hot commodity nationwide. But Lucas is a South Florida native, and there's also some things going on in his personal life that it came out recently that his father is in poor health, and he missed home. And now I'm not going to be naive and not say that, hey, maybe NIL also had something to do with this. Hey, I'm sure the opportunities are more plentiful down here than they would be in Madison, Wisconsin. Let's be honest. But all that to say, the young man wanted to make a decision that he thought was right for him, and good for him. I think he should be allowed to do that. So at the end of last season, this season that just ended, Xavier Lucas announced his intentions of entering his name into the transfer portal. Now, when that happens, the school, in this case, University of Wisconsin, has 48 hours to oblige. Of course, they can use that time to try to sway him back. And, if they can't, then after 48 hours is up, they need to enter his name officially into the transfer portal. Now, here's where it gets a little muddy. He goes and hires an attorney, Xavier Lucas does. And in doing so, I guess realized what was in front of our faces all along, that, hey, this transfer portal thing is like, it's kind of this imaginary barrier. It's not like this legally binding thing, apparently. So he goes and unenrolls from Wisconsin as a student, because if you went to college at any point, that, hey, if you're a student, you can unenroll from where you're at and transfer to wherever you want, assuming you qualify. So he did just that. He unenrolled as a student academically from Wisconsin and enrolled, or is in the process of enrolling in classes at Miami, with then the intention of, once he is a student, to become a student athlete and play on the football team. So what's going to happen from there? Is he going to be able to receive a scholarship? Is he going to come in as a walk-on, kind of like what Cormani McLean did with Florida last year? I'm not sure. I'm not sure how that's going to work. But the fact of the matter is, Wisconsin broke the rules here, and it's a very, very bad look for them. It makes them seem like they just didn't want to lose a really good player. They didn't want to lose maybe the best defensive player they've had in a long, long time, because fans are pretty angry that they're losing Xavier Lucas. And they've had a nice little pipeline from South Florida to Madison for close to 20 years now. And it looks like that bridge may be burned because of the way they handled this. If a kid wants to, look, if a Kane wants to hit the portal, and if I'm Mario Cristobal, I'm one of the assistant coaches, I'm like, hey, if you really do want to leave, good luck to you. Do what's right for you and your family. I've never been opposed to that. At the end of the day, I am for these young men having the freedom to be able to do that. Now, there should be some guardrails to it, as I've said many times. Maybe you're allowed so many transfers before, maybe you have to sit out a year or something. I don't know. They should put some rules to that. But now that this happened, it could set a precedent of, now it's really the wild, wild west. Now anybody can just unenroll and enroll somewhere else whenever the hell they want. If they're going to a school that has, they have the deep pockets and with the NIL, essentially your scholarship, or, your tuition could be covered by that. So it opens a lot of avenues for players to move around even more, as if they even needed that. Is it sustainable? No, but hopefully they will figure this out as far as that goes. But in the immediate, it is great news for Miami, because they are getting a fantastic player. I did a deep dive on his tape. when he was at American Heritage here in South Florida, which, by the way, is a DB factory. They've cranked out a lot of great DBs, Damari Brown being one of them. He's on the team right now. Very versatile, 6'2", like I said, 200, 205 pounds around there. Big kid, long, athletic, very, very fast, has that track speed. So he shows a lot of versatility. He could play the boundary corner. He could play the slot corner. He could play close, bump and run. He loves contact. He loves to tackle. Had a good tackling grade at Wisconsin. So that's something we desperately need, a good tackling out in the secondary. That prevents big plays. So you're bringing that in. He's comfortable playing man or zone coverage, which to me is good because that will probably allow for an easy transition to safety. We are a little thin numbers-wise still at safety. Numbers-wise and talent-wise, you do have Bryce Fitzgerald coming in, and yeah, you have some nice younger talent with this class coming in, but you did lose Drake Stubbs. You brought in Zachariah Poyser, who I think is a day one starter. But I think you need another dude. You need another guy. And there's already been rumors of, hey, maybe he switches over to safety. There's a little tape of him out there playing some safety in high school. So he's not a complete stranger to it. He seems to be comfortable at corner, either boundary or slot. And look, if he and OJ are your two best corners, play him at corner. Okay. And then maybe put Damari at safety, who's also got a similar body type, 6'1.5", 6'2", 200 pounds, loves to hit. Both are big guys. Either one can maybe switch to safety. That's going to be the coaching staff's decision when they evaluate in this offseason where they're going to move them. I think with so many corners, you've got to move one to safety. Xavier Lucas might be one of them. But it's a great problem to have because he's so versatile. You can kind of plug him in anywhere. And Corey Heatherman's defense that he's bringing in, that slot corner, that nickel is extremely important. It's extremely important in today's college football in general, but especially in his defense. You bring him in, now you have depth because you have some interchangeable parts. You have Charles Brantley, who can maybe play in the slot a little bit. Not as big of a guy, but he's a veteran. He's reliable. And then you got Damari, who can play the slot. Damari, who can maybe move back to safety, like I said. So some movable parts. This is why, as of a couple of years ago, you saw Cristobal really going after guys that he could cross-train. Now, a couple of years later, you're seeing how that can pay off. It allows you some freedom. So football-wise, amazing pickup. On a personal level, happy for the kid that he was able to make the move and come down here. Better opportunity for him, his family. He could be with his dad. And again, people are going to claim, tampering. They threw a bag at him and he came down. No, it's not that. No, not that simple. Again, did NIL maybe have something to do with it? Were the NIL opportunities more plentiful down here? I'm sure they were. It's Miami versus Wisconsin. I mean, come on. So he was able to do what he wanted to do ultimately, and I'm happy for him. And happy for the defense because this is a completely new secondary, and that was the weakest part of the team, the pass defense. Allowing too many chunk plays, allowing too many third and longs. Cristobal saw that and was like, okay, that has to stop. That has to be fixed immediately. Personnel-wise, I think he's more than addressed it with a truckload of new talent. And now he's also addressed it with the coaching change, hiring a new defensive coordinator. And will bring in new assistants. So ultimately, this is great news. Again, very happy to hear it. And that's it. Give me your thoughts, please, in the comments. Hit the like button and hit the subscribe button if you haven't done so already. And please, there's my handle right there. Go follow me on X. And stay tuned for more news. As always, go Canes.